So I went to the building owner that owns 10 buildings in the area, 9 of the 10 buildings. And I said, we need to help the families because in your buildings, in this 1 square block, and I live in one of the buildings, but I live in the upper middle class or middle class building, right? And then the buildings around the corner, the crack alley, are what we call at-risk buildings.
Right.
That just means there's no protection. So at risk for horrible conditions means someone is not protecting you with good doors, adequate security and safety and lighting and other things you need to be safe in your home.
Right.
And so I went to the really wealthy guy who owns a 17-story building, another building next to us 10 stories, and all these other buildings. And I said, sir, there's a murder every month in your buildings right on this 1 square block.
Wow.
They call it crack alley. I said, there's daily home invasions. I called the police so much, the 911 operators knew my name.
Right.
I would call and they were like, I was like, there's people screaming, there's shooting, there's someone's yelling for help. They're like, Dale, we know, Dale. You called yesterday. There's every day they were shooting guns, like literally every day, outside of, the buildings, like very close to where I live.
And what year are we talking?
We're talking about like 94, 95.
Okay.
And so, I'm calling all the time, and I'm thinking that what the citizens need is like a liaison. We're going to explain. I'm going to show you how to explain this to the police, so you can work with them. They can work with you to protect the neighborhood, right? What I thought was the problem, as I watched the news, was that the families, the people in Detroit, aren't helping the police help them. They're not snitching. They're embracing criminality, and they're just not doing the right thing.
Right.
And so what changed me was a little girl. She was 14. She's being attacked by a group of women. And I watched for 45 minutes while she was attacked. I watched her get attacked. I called repeatedly to 911. This is on the streets of Detroit. This is on East Jefferson and Holcomb Street, which is a major street right near the mayor, across from Jeffersonian, which is a big condominium where wealthy people live. But on this side of the street, it's not wealthy. It's where poor and working class people live. And make a long story short, it's a 6-lane road, basically, a 6-lane highway, or 6-lane metropolitan street. So it's very large, but it separates the wealthy from the poor.
Right.
And I live on the poor side. So I go to the building owner. I say, listen, we need to put up lighting. We need these other things. He was not interested, but the girl's being attacked. And before this happened, I went to the building owner. I said, we need to improve the safety of the people in your community because you're having these home invasions and murders. And he looked at me and he said, oh, wow, yeah, I'm not interested in anything you're saying right now, but good luck with helping your people.
Right.
I was like, helping my people? What are you talking about? These are your people, actually. They pay you.
It wasn't causing him to lose out on any money.
It was.
It was.
It was.
Because I'm thinking that he doesn't give a shit because
he's
he's just making money. He's a fucking slumlord, right?
Right. He's actually saying the opposite. He's saying, listen, I'm not making any money. I'm not buying any new doors, no lighting. I'm not doing anything for these people because I'm not making any money. I haven't made any money since the 60s.
I guess that's even worse. Yeah.
Right. So he's like, why would I spend money if I'm not making any money?
Yeah,
okay. And what do you think you can do the entire Detroit Police Department can't do?
Right.
I mean, what they can't do it, but you can. How's that possible? You have a dog and a rifle. I mean, how's it going to help?
Yeah.
And I was like, it's a good point. How would a dog and a rifle and me be helpful? I was like, well, I'll get back to you about that. I'm not really sure how that's going to work out.
Okay.
So I came back with a plan. So first I had to do some research. He was not interested, right? So I found out he lost $70,000 last time there was a murder. And every month there's a murder.
He lost $70,000 every time there was a murder?
Yes, because people would move out.
Oh, wow.
So these people are working class. They're not poverty stricken.
Right.
They could actually move. So some people the senior citizens were generally not able to move, and some single moms couldn't move. But a lot of other people were families that are poor, working their way up, out of the economic class. But they had jobs and they could leave, and they would leave. When the murder happens, they leave the building.
I believe it.
Or buildings, right? And so I said, I heard you lost $70,000 last month, and you've been losing. So I said, listen, why don't you give me 6 months? Give me a free apartment so I don't get evicted because I don't have any money either. And I was working for the guy at $4.15 an hour. He was paying me $4.15 an hour, and minimum wage was $5.15. And I worked 80 hours a week, but got paid only for 40. And I wasn't working. So when we say working, I was volunteering 40 hours a week to protect the community because it was that out of control.
Wow.
And so I knew this, though. If I'm going to help the community in a meaningful way long term, I need the legal rights to enforce the rules of law in those buildings. So that's all I cared about. And I know I'm not going to make any money or anything. And then He said, you know what? I'll give you that. I said, let me give this, this one office at the bottom of the building, which is right on East Jefferson. So I got a school now. It's 500 square feet. It's really about the size of this room that we're in right now. Okay, that's my whole school.
Okay.
And it's a bathroom and a small little office. I said, let me have that so I can train people from the community, and I have a school, and I will train people to protect their buildings. Give me a free apartment in each building of the 10 buildings. And so I found volunteers on the streets of Detroit, and I said, listen, I'll give you a free apartment. I'll train you for free. I don't have any money, but I can train you, give you a free apartment in exchange for you protecting your building. And then I got one of the clients one of the owners of the buildings to purchase Nextel radio, so you can actually press a button and communicate with multiple units at the same time, so we can all help each other. And so now we get like a walkie-talkie system, cellular based. And next thing you know, we're able to have a group that can actually be helpful to stopping home invasions and murders.
Right.
And all the murders stopped immediately. I caught a set of home invaders about a month later. And after that, there was no more home invasions. I stopped some carjackers, carjackings, and some other extreme violent conditions, and caught some people that did some shootings.
So most of your time you're spending doing what? Like just foot patrols of the area? Are you spending a lot of time talking to the residents and stuff?
and responding to them. So so now my
so they can
response
call
time,
you instead of the cops?
No, they have to call the cops. Make them legally call the cops.
Okay.
So there's always a legal accountability path where you're calling the police, and the only reason I'm taking action is due to exigent circumstances.
Right.
Can you please subscribe to the No Jumper Clips channel and get it to 20K, or they won't have no money to pay me, and I'm gonna have to go rob people again?